the big idea we shared last week, uh, and like I said, I'm speaking specifically to men, but believe you me, if the men can pick these principles, they will benefit a lot, but the women will perhaps benefit much more, all right, from men or the lives of men that have been transformed by this principle. So the big idea we shared last Wednesday is that you were designed and equipped by God for leadership. So embrace it. I said that the primary purpose of a man in marriage is leadership. All right, it's not even provision, it's not even defense and every other thing. Those things are important and we get to do those things. But the most important thing a man does in marriage is provide leadership. We also looked at some essential qualities, that a man must imbibe, some essential leadership qualities that a man must imbibe. We talked about vision, we talked about empathy, we talked about communication, we talked about planning and execution, and then integrity. All right, the video and audio for last Wednesday and then tonight will be available from tomorrow, all right, by God's grace, so you can listen to them over and over again. So we looked at vision, empathy, communication, all right, planning and execution, and integrity. Our case study last week was Saul and David, and we're trying to look at the difference between Saul and David. We were able to identify two principles. The first is godliness, and I told you to submit yourself absolutely to God, okay? Any man that wants to live or that wants to become a real man in the sense of the word, he must learn to what? Submit himself absolutely to God. And the second principle we saw from the life of David is resolve. Okay, resolve. Make a firm decision about the kind of man that you want to be. You make a firm decision about the kind of man that you want to be, and then you let that decision be your compass from that moment forward. Okay, resolve is what you make up your mind, or you make a firm decision about the kind of man that you want to be, and then you make sure that decision becomes your compass from that moment forward. It's important, okay, that you put that at the back of your mind. Those were the things we talked about last week. Now today I want to talk about honor. Okay, if you notice, I said in resolve that you make up your mind the kind of man you want to be. So you want to say to yourself, I am a man of honor. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. For each and every one of us that wants to become a man of honor, you want to be a man of honor. That's what I want to deal with tonight. You see, the greatest need of every man is honor. The greatest need of every man is honor. In each and every man, there is a deep-seated desire to be admired and respected. This is important. Okay, the greatest need of every man is honor. In each and every one of us, there is a deep-seated desire to be admired and respected. Let's look at something from the Bible in Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 33. From the Amplified Bible, see, Paul the Apostle said some powerful words here. Okay, he said, however, let each man of you, without exception, love his wife as being, in a sense, his very own self. You see, the greatest need of a woman is to be cherished, to be adored. But the greatest need of a man is to be respected. And Paul here was saying, you know what, man, meet the needs of your wife. And then he's saying to the women now, meet the needs of your husband. Look at what he said to the women. He said, and let the wife see that she respects and reveres or reverences her husband, that she notices him, regards him, honors him, prefers him, venerates him, and esteems him, that she defers to him, praises him, and loves and admires him exceedingly. This is important. Every man loves to be honored. It's a need in us. It's a strong desire in us to be honored and to be respected. Okay, see, the average man does not mind if he does not have money, as long as he has respect. So before you know it, we seek a lot of things just to satisfy this deep desire to be honored. And that's what I want to talk to us about tonight. Now listen to this. There is public honor and there is private honor. You've got to follow me closely tonight. There is public honor and there is private honor. Now, public honor comes from talent and hard work. Public honor comes from talent and hard work. When a man, and each and every one of us were gifted, when we apply hard work to the giftedness, all right, we produce results. We begin to accomplish. And for our accomplishments, for our achievements, people respect us, people honor us, okay? We begin to win awards, we make money, we become famous, we become influential. And for men, this can be very, very satisfying. It can be very, very gratifying. And that's public honor. See, but there's public honor and there's private honor. Now, private honor comes from character. This is important. Private honor comes from character. When I say character, I mean the quality of your person, okay? Who you are when no one is looking. That is character. And it is in that area that so many men struggle, okay? And this is where the most damage is done. So you see people who have public honor, but who don't have private honor. They are respectable men, okay, publicly, but behind closed doors, okay, they are despicable men. They are obnoxious because they lack character, okay? You see, listen, this is what I'm trying to say to you. Private honor is what sustains public honor, okay? Private honor is what sustains public honor. Without character as a foundation, public failure is inevitable. I want every man to listen to this. We clamor so much for respect outside, okay, before the public. But if character is not a foundation for whatever career or life that you are building, public failure is inevitable, okay? This is very important. Always remember, the higher you rise, the harder you fall. If your foundation is not character, if your life in private is not impeccable, then your public honor is going to be short-lived, okay? Your private failure will do more damage than your public success will ever accomplish. These principles are very powerful, okay? Your private failure will do more damage than your public success will ever accomplish. And tonight, I'm going to use a case study. Our case study tonight is Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali. Okay, in the year 2016, David Jones wrote an article for the Daily Mail. It was published on the 4th of June 2016. And I'm just going to read what David Jones wrote in that article. Listen to this. He said, Muhammad Ali's flaws. Among them is susceptibility to sycophancy and weakness for pretty women. Wreaked havoc in his personal life, leaving scars so deep they can never be healed. In boxing terms, his success can be measured by the unprecedented 3 world titles he won. When it comes to racial integration, the role he played was so pivotal that it arguably blazed the trail that led to America electing its first black president. Yet, sadly, his legacy to his family is marred by jealousy, bitterness, and division. Married 4 times, he was a serial adulterer. And though he acknowledged 9 children plus an adopted son, there are many others all across America who claim him as their father. One of his children, born to Ali's abandoned second wife, Belinda Boyd, his name was Ali Jr. He was woefully neglected by his absentee father as a child and badly bullied by boys who wanted to prove that they could beat up the legendary champion's son. Perhaps as a result, he is pitifully lost and confused, or better still, he is a pitifully lost and confused character who has spent his life alternately trying to live up to his illustrious name and making a few dollars from it on the side and to escape it. During our meeting, now this is David Jones writing, he said, during our meeting over breakfast at a cheap diner he frequents, Junior recalled how at his father's 50th birthday, Ali took him aside for what would prove to be their only heart-to-heart conversation. He told me he was afraid what might happen to him in the afterlife because of some of the things he's done, said Junior. I told him that whatever has gone on in the past, I still loved him, and his eyes filled with tears. Ali Jr. was then 21 And he says he spent much of the ensuing 20 years trying to rebuild a relationship with his daddy. But he claims to have been thwarted at every turn by Ali's fourth wife, Lonnie, who regarded him unfairly, he insists, as a sponger and banished him from Ali's life altogether after learning how he tried to sell a pair of his father's gloves, or rather his father's boxing gloves. Though he desperately wanted to say his goodbyes to his father, he says it was kept at arm's length until Ali drew his last breath. Though the former heavyweight champion strove to present himself as a patriarchal figure and clearly loved his disparate family in his own aberrant way, his son Ali Jr. says the boxer took after his own father, Cassius Marcellus Clay, a philandering Kentucky artist. Now, I need you to pay attention to something here. I'm going to read this line all over again. Okay? He says, Ali Jr. says that the boxer, that is Muhammad Ali himself, took after his own father, Cassius Marcellus Clay, a philandering Kentucky artist. Now, we're looking at 3 generations of men who struggle. And this is what I came to say to you tonight. Whatever you fail to confront becomes a proclivity in the next generation. And that's why we men of this generation, we can't afford to fold our arms. We can't afford to just carry on and pretend like we don't have battles to fight. Whatever we fail to confront. So Ali's father was a philandering artist. And then his son became a serial adulterer. And that son gave birth to a son who at an early age was already lost. He was not cared for, and he was on his way also to disaster because, he did not have a good example to follow. Now, we're talking Muhammad Ali till now, public figure of renown. He had public honor, but private honor eluded him. And that's what we're talking about tonight. Regardless of what you achieve in public, if you lack private honor, it is going to do a massive damage. So this is the big idea I came to share tonight. We must prioritize private honor over public honor. See, is what I'm saying. The people who are not close to you, the people who don't know you, they will respect your work, they will sing your praise, and then you die and they have forgotten you. But there are people who are so close to you, your children, your immediate family members, they are the ones that whatever life you live now will affect for generations to come. So you see, you don't want to be successful out there and then fail, at home. I learned a definition of success from Josie Maxwell a couple of years back. He said, success is winning the respect of those closest to me. Now listen to this. Leadership is influence. Success is winning the respect. In other words, my success is my ability to effortlessly influence those who are closest to me. In other words, regardless of what people say to me outside, if my immediate family does not respect me, I have failed as a man. If the people who are closest to you don't respect you as a man, you have failed. So what are we supposed to do? Prioritize private honor over public honor. Focus on your character and your reputation will take care of itself. Focus on your character and your reputation will take care of itself. And I came to share just a very simple principle with us tonight. To attract private honor, lead excellently. To attract private honor, lead excellently. And what we are saying is, don't just focus on succeeding externally. Prioritize that the people that are closest to you honor you. You need to understand that honor is not commanded. Honor is not demanded. Honor is inspired. The quality of your person is what will inspire people who are closest to you to want to honor you. And I say to you tonight, to attract private honor, lead excellently. I have chosen the word lead to explain 4 principles that I believe will help your leadership. Now, the things I'm about to share with you will influence you, will help your leadership, will help you to be effective, not only in the context of marriage, but anywhere you find yourself in leadership. Even as ladies who are listening to me tonight, the principles I'm about to share with you will help you to become effective in leadership. We are only applying them, to men tonight. So I said, to attract private honor, lead excellently. Now, in lead, the first letter is L. It means to listen. Listen. When I say listen, what do I mean? Listen with your heart and not your head. I'm speaking to men now. Listen with your heart and not your head. This is important. I spoke about listening last week and I want to stretch it. I want to take it to another level tonight. Listen with your heart, not your head. I discovered something very recently, that when women and children speak, what they really mean is in between the lines. You see, when I'm talking to a fellow man, if I say that I'll be there by 8 or I ought to be there by 8, I mean I ought to be there by 8. When a woman says I ought to be there by 8, she's not talking about I ought to be there by 8. Maybe she's saying, take me there. Okay, help me to get there by 8. But they just are not as direct as we are. So if you are going to win the influence of the people that are closest to you, you listen with your heart and not your head. Stop paying attention to what they are saying. Pay attention to the feeling they are expressing when they are speaking. Listen to their feelings more than you listen to their words. And for those of us who are people of faith, I say to you, be like Jesus, a high priest that can be touched by feelings, not just by logic. We men are logical people, but we must learn to be touched by feelings and not just by logic. Okay, so the first principle is listen. Now, when you practice listening effectively, what does that do? It improves the emotional security of the people closest to you. Okay, when you practice listening effectively, when you pay attention to the people around you, and like I said to us, you can do this at work, you can, whether you're an employee or you run your own business, when you practice listening effectively, you will notice the people around you, okay, they are just secure. It improves the emotional security of the people that you are doing like with. And like I told you, be like Jesus. Okay, be touched by the feelings of the people around you and not just the logic of the situation. What are we talking about? To attract private honor, lead excellently. Okay, and lead there is an acrostic. L means listen. Let's move to the next one. E. Okay, E means enable. Enable. I'm going to say 3 words, or better still, 3 phrases to us right now. E is for enable. And when I say enable, I'm asking you to do 3 things. Men, pay attention to this. I'm asking you to do 3 things. Open doors, get out of the way, encourage. Okay? Open doors, get out of the way, encourage. If you want to enable the people around you, your wife, your children, your immediate family, practice these 3 things to enable them. Open doors. When I say open doors, make things happen for them. You need to understand one of your purposes as a man is you are a pathfinder. Open doors, okay? Your wife wants to do business, enable her. Open doors for her. Make things happen for her. That's what it means. Open doors, okay? Number 2, get out of the way. What does that mean? Make sure you are not the reason why somebody around you is not moving forward. Married men especially, listen to this. When your wife cannot do some things because there is constraint on her, okay, from the marriage or from the home front, you are not enabling her enough. For example, there are some women who cannot thrive in the marketplace because of domestic responsibilities. Okay, it means they have not been empowered, they have not been enabled. A woman should not be tied down because she got married. A woman's life should pick up speed because she got married. You need to understand, the word husband is a cultivator. All right, so you open doors, then you make sure you get out of the way. Don't be a stumbling block to the progress of the people around you. This happens even in, organizations, in companies. When you are the boss, you've got to learn to enable people. Don't be the reason why they are not promoted. Don't be the reason why they are not stepping up. Don't be the kind of person that clips the wings of people. Be the wind beneath their wings. All right, so open doors for them, get out of the way. And then thirdly, encourage. Okay, especially in the context of marriage. I stumbled on another principle. In the context of marriage, leave the criticism to haters and the devil. All right, leave the criticisms to haters and the devil. You see, your spouse has enough, your wife has enough, all right, people on her case. The haters are there, the devil is there to do the accusation. In the context of your marriage, the Bible says you are washing your wife, you are enabling, you are building her with the words that you speak. So in the context of marriage, a man must be conscious. My word should enable, not tear down. Sometimes because we are close to people, we fixate on their weaknesses. But you need to understand, my purpose in marriage is not to point out the error in my partner. My purpose in marriage is to what? To strengthen the strength of my partner and use my strength to make up for her weakness. So I'm not there to criticize her. It's not my duty to pull her down. It's not my duty to point out what is wrong. It is my duty to encourage, because it is through encouragement that we enable. We're looking at the acrostic lead. L is for listen. Listen with your heart and not your head. E is for enable. Okay? Open doors, get out of the way, and encourage. Men, we must learn to encourage our spouses. Okay? Leave criticism to haters. That's their job. You do the job of an encourager. What is the consequence of this principle? When you practice enabling the people around you, you multiply productivity. And like I said, this principle applies to anywhere you play the role of a leader. When you enable people around you, you multiply productivity. The third principle is A, acknowledge. Acknowledge. Men, notice the little things and say something publicly before people that are important to both of you. I'll say it again. Notice the little things and say something publicly before people that are important to both of you. For example, your children. Let your children hear you praise your wife. It's important. Once you get married, okay, let your children, your family members, her colleagues and friends, let them hear you praise your wife. Let them hear you acknowledge the good things in your wife. Like I've said before now, you see, everybody has strengths, everybody has weaknesses. In the context of marriage, your purpose is to what? Amplify the strengths of your spouse and use your strength to mitigate their weakness. Not harp on their weakness, talk about their weakness, point attention to their weakness. No. Okay? When they do anything, acknowledge it. When your wife does anything, listen to this. Yes, you can acknowledge in private, but public praise is very important in the context of marriage, especially to women and children. Your child does something very well, say something about it publicly. Don't just say it in private, acknowledge them openly. What is the consequence of acknowledgement? It builds confidence. Okay? Acknowledgement builds confidence. Pay attention to what people are doing. When you're the boss, it's important. You're the husband, it's important. Little things. She cooks a nice meal, acknowledge. She takes care of the children, acknowledge. Okay? She helps you to get some things done, acknowledge. All right, let me give you an example. You're probably talking to maybe your dad or your mom on the phone. Okay, it's an opportunity to acknowledge. So daddy, please help me thank my wife. Or look at what she did. It's something little, but acknowledge. Our friends come to visit. You say, you know what? Please let me say thank you to your friend. She's doing a fantastic job raising our children. Blah blah blah. Acknowledge. It's very, very important. It builds confidence. And then finally tonight, D, defend. What are we sharing? The principle to attract private honor, lead excellently. Okay? Defend. All right? This is what I found out. Opposites attract. So in the average relationship, you are strong when your partner is weak. What you need to do is what? Take your stand in the place of our weakness. Marriage is not a place of competition. Marriage is a place of complementing one another. All right, so you defend your spouse, all right, by manifesting your strength in that person's area of weakness. I'll give you an example. If you are the critical type, you can think very fast, you can cope with pressure. When there is pressure, that's not the time to point out, oh, you don't know how to thrive under pressure. No, you take your strength and apply it and let her hide behind you. That's defense. Okay, and you protect your family, you protect your wife at all times. When I say defend, this is another implication of defend. Never use your strength to her disadvantage. Okay? Never use your strength to her disadvantage. That is how you defend your spouse. Even when something comes to your knowledge, somebody is saying something negative about her, you don't need to hear the other side of the story before you defend your spouse. Your purpose is to defend. Other people will do the accusing. Your own responsibility is to defend. Let me give you the big picture of what I'm sharing tonight. Paul the apostle in chapter 5, verse 33, he said to the men to love their wives like they will love themselves. In other words, loving your wife is loving yourself. And I said to us before now that there is a deep-seated what? Desire for honor in every man. There is public honor, there is private honor. Public honor comes from our accomplishments, the combination of our hard work and talent. People acknowledge our work, they award us, they reward us, they give us recognition, all right, and all of that. We achieve fame and notoriety and all of those things. That's public honor. But there's private honor, and that is winning the respect of those who are closest to you. Now, private honor is greater than public honor. Because no matter what it is, you die, you are a figment of people's memory and all of that. But you are an integral part of the future of the people that do life with you. So I said to us tonight to prioritize private honor over public honor. And I now said to what? To attract private honor, to win the respect of those that are closest to you, I said lead. And lead there is an acrostic for what? Listen, enable, acknowledge, defend. Listen, enable, acknowledge, defend. These principles are not even only primary to marriage or relationships, they apply everywhere. So I'm saying to you as a man, wherever you find yourself in leadership, practice this principle. Listen, enable, acknowledge, defend. Okay? Listen, leadership is not so much about what you do. Leadership is about what people are doing because of what you have done or because of what you are doing. And I'm asking you to listen to them, to empower them, enable them. Anytime you see them do anything good, acknowledge them. All right? I learned this principle long ago. Catch your people doing right. A lot of bosses know how to catch people doing wrong. You make it your habit to catch your people doing right. In other words, acknowledge little things, little improvements, little efforts, little contributions. Be that kind of person that sees, what others are doing, and then you acknowledge them. And I told you tonight that when you listen, you improve the emotional security of the people you are doing life with. When you enable, you multiply productivity around you. When you acknowledge, you build people's confidence. When you defend, you deepen trust. Okay, when you defend, you deepen trust. And listen to this. People would only go along with you if they get along with you. If people don't trust you, they won't follow you. When you want to deepen trust, you defend. People need to be able to know at any point in time, I can count on you. When you are that kind of person, you will win the respect, of the people that are closest to you. Private honor is greater than public honor. And that's where we're going to wrap it up tonight.